Hey everyone, and welcome to day 21 of my horror movie review marathon, and I've got The House That Jack Built movie review. A sociopath is going all over the place to kill and be an architect at the same time. So as far as the story goes, Lars von Trier directs this movie where a man goes on a killing spree, and it is told in a series of, chapters that all have unique titles, but yet the horrifying outcomes make me feel the same way. What's even weirder is when the main character, played by Matt Dillon, is alone but not completely mentally there. And it reminds me a little bit of The Twilight Zone, even though I probably have a bit more respect for, how The Twilight Zone was made versus this type of movie, because here there are just so many random spooky moments in this movie that are really ones that make you cringe. Now, I first of all couldn't believe how long this movie was, and I figured maybe it'd go by fast. It did not. And I couldn't understand half the things that were going on, and it even used footage from some of Lars von Trier's old films. I think were made to look like it was all supposed to make sense with the grand scheme of things, but honestly, I didn't see half of his movies except for maybe one or two, but I just didn't understand the message he was trying to make. There's a reason why I heard that people actually walked out of seeing this movie when it was first released at a film festival, and I just couldn't believe my eyes with half of the things I was seeing, and it was quite frankly something I never wanted to see again, but I had to just try to keep watching most of the movie and see how it was all going to go down. Now, as far as the casting goes, you've got Matt Dillon, who plays the lead role, and he really does get intense to watch in this movie, and quite frankly, I was really feeling unnerved by the way he was portraying his character. I mean, I'm not saying it was bad, but I'm also not saying it was good either. I mean, I know that he can pull off a very intimidating performance, but man, to see him as a full-fledged killer, I just couldn't believe how crazy it was. His interactions with people, and he had these OCD tendencies, and it really made his performance stand out to me. And of course, he did stand out above anyone else that was in this movie, and quite frankly, the only other actress that I knew by name was Uma Thurman. It just, surprised me how unimportant a lot of the other characters' roles in this, and a lot of the victims were women or even children, and it was even just crazier to see what was all happening to them and how it was all happening. Just really made my skin crawl half the time. So the only thing that I liked about this movie was that, like I said, it did make me feel unnerved to watch what was all happening to these potential victims, but maybe the execution, and I don't mean that in a literal murderous sense, because it was too much for me to handle, to be quite honest with you. So the things that I didn't really like about this movie was that it was disturbing, it was unsettling, it was brutal. I mean, at times I felt like I was going to be sick to my stomach watching this, and the last time that I'd felt this way watching a movie with the way that things were happening left and right was probably Darren Aronofsky's Mother, and a lot of my friends know how I felt when it all ended, and literally I felt the same way with this movie when it ended. And honestly, I didn't want to finish watching it because it was slow moving. I mean, it was over 2.5 hours long, so I was like, how the hell am I going to get through this? And I felt like half the time some of the things that were being shown was really just unnecessary. So I feel like I really felt disconnected watching this movie, and not just because I haven't watched a lot of Lars von Trier films, but because I didn't understand what he was trying to make. And I'm not saying what he was trying to showcase in this movie, and how he wanted to showcase it was all, for a bad cause, but I couldn't possibly stand behind whatever was all, being seen, and I quite frankly don't want to know why, because it was just something I never wanted to see again in my life. So overall, I would say that this movie, I went in with an open mind, but I came out disappointed. So I'm kind of on the fence about recommending it to you guys, whether or not you've seen a Lars von Trier movie and you know what to expect from a Lars von Trier movie. But if you've seen this, you are probably just as disappointed with it as I am. So I would give this a half heart on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The House That Jack Built, and come back tomorrow for day 22 of my horror movie review marathon. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Trail Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later.